Well, and already the show's apparently over. Thank you for watching the PPP plays, folks. Appreciate that. Hello, everybody, and welcome to an early start on the Prancing Pony podcast plays. That's because today is Tolkien's birthday. And so at traditionally 9 o'clock local time, but I'm going to do it at 9 o'clock UK time. You do a toast to the professor. So we're going to talk a little bit about Tolkien for a few minutes. And then at 1 o'clock Pacific here in about 12 minutes and change, we're going to stand up and do a toast to the professor. So just welcome everybody. I hope that your year is off to a wonderful start. Happy 2026. I realize now the last time I saw you, it was still 2025. So wow, it's been a while. Good to see you all. Hope that the year is going well so far. Of course, if you're a college football fan, how well your year is going is probably dictated by how well those games went. uh, yeah, so you've got a few minutes to get your drink of choice, and have that prepared so that we can stand and do a toast to the professor at 1 p.m. So just as a reminder for those of you who don't know sort of the basic biographical details, Tolkien's mother and father, Arthur and Mabel Tolkien, were married in 1891. In March of 1981, Mabel sailed from Birmingham to South Africa, where she met up with Arthur. They'd been engaged. She had just turned 21, and her father wouldn't let her leave until she was 21. They met and got married, and then moved directly to Bloemfontein in what was then called the Orange Free State. That's now, I believe, it's just called Free State in South Africa, but that was Orange Free State at the time. And on January 3rd, this day, 1892, so we're talking about 134 years ago today, John Ronald Reuel Tolkien was born. And it is to him that we will raise our glasses and celebrate all that he has given us over those years, over that century plus. So Hassel, I'm not supposed to be political, but go Indiana. Yeah, I'm pulling for him. I don't have a dog in this hunt, as they might say, but anytime Bama gets taken down, I'm a fairly happy guy. So that was a good game to watch. I'm excited as a Raiders fan. I'm personally excited because it gave me a chance to watch Mendoza, who I am hoping will be wearing silver and black next year. But yeah, we'll come back to football later. For now, let's talk about the professor. He has given us so much over the last, I mean, my goodness, from 1916 and some of the early poetry all the way through until the very last writings that were captured in the Peoples of Middle Earth that his son Christopher gave us. In fact, really, the professor's legacy um, would not be what it is without Christopher Tolkien. But we'll toast to Christopher on his birthday. So the shirt today, Nathan, is the OSHA White Tree of Gondor. And it's a glorious shirt. I gotta tell you, man, when I saw that they start doing their stuff on clothing, I'm doomed. I'm gonna spend all my money on OSHA clothing. So, goodness. So, what interesting drinks do we have in the room today as we prepare for our toast in about 8 minutes? And no, I will not be toasting with my water bottle. Yeah, they're it was one thing when they did mugs and blankets and wraps and stuff. I'm like, yeah, I like their blankets and wraps, but I'm not a blankets and wraps kind of guy. Um, I don't even drink all that many cold drinks, but of course I still got a couple of their mugs. But they're the designs that they use are just glorious. They're just classy. So yeah, I absolutely had to get the White Tree of Gondor. Earl Grey tea, whiskey later, but okay, so second energy drink for now. Guinness, a good choice. Good choice. I meant to stop at the grocery store and get some Martinelli's Cabernet. But I will also be drinking my energy drink. It'll be my first one of the day. I will have the decency to pour it into a glass, however, so that I may raise my glass to the professor. Ginger beer, another good choice. Yeah, excellent. You know, I just every once in a while when I come onto these this day, right, to do the Tolkien birthday toast, and sometimes we've done events and sometimes we haven't. In fact, we probably haven't more often than we have. A premixed espresso martini. Leave it to Trader Joe's to come up with something like that. Um, uh, every time I come up onto this day, I'm just reminded of how different our lives would be without the professor's work, and it would be a sadder world, right? Um, More than that, I guess I'd be doing something else. Um, it's when I'm reminded how fortunate I am that I get to study and talk about Tolkien's works for a living. I could not be more grateful or more shocked um, that this is what I get to do. And they say love what you do and you'll never work a day in your life. That is absolutely true. Don't get me wrong; it's still tiring and draining sometimes, but it doesn't ever feel like work. So it's Belgian beer. Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, our communities, maybe some of us would know each other through our other fandoms, Star Wars or Jane Austen or yeah, Formula One, unlikely. Some of the other things that we do that we like, but yeah, our communities that we all love and cherish would not be here. So the professor has given us so much, and I hope that we remember that as we raise a glass to him in just a few minutes. Yeah, the fantasy genre would be weak. Dungeons and Dragons would be weak. Um, I mean, it's really something. I don't like to imagine that world. I don't even like to imagine that world without Christopher Tolkien because, like I said, earlier, if it weren't for him, we wouldn't have the Silmarillion, we wouldn't have the History of Middle Earth, all 12 volumes, we wouldn't have the Great Tales. Um, it's just mind-boggling when you stop to think about the volume of work that Tolkien actually did versus the small sliver of it that was published in his lifetime. So, yeah, just fantastic. So, we're going to be raising a glass here in just a few minutes. Uh, I'm just going to enjoy the chat as we see everybody sort of commenting on how grateful we are and how our lives are much richer, not just because we've gotten to read The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings, not just because we grew up watching The Lord of the Rings on TV every Christmas on TNT for a decade, uh, but because we have each other. We have I have the podcast and the community, and you've got each other and not only this particular fandom, this corner of the fandom, I should say, but obviously the fandom as a whole. Yeah, there'd be nothing. This entire bookshelf. I'm trying to think if there's anything up here that isn't Lord of the Rings related or Tolkien related. I mean, I have a dictionary of early English, but I don't think I'd have that if Tolkien hadn't been around. No, those would be empty shelves. I wouldn't be in this room. Yeah, it's fantastic. Empty bookshelves indeed. Copy The Hobbit when you were 8. I love it because that's right around the same age. I think I'm trying to remember. No, I was 9. It was because I was, let's see. Yeah, I had just turned 9 in the summer of 77 and was given a copy of The Hobbit for Christmas after watching the Hobbit animated television special. Um, I'll do that, Nate. That's a good question, and I'll do that probably after the toast. But for now, we'll just do the toast in a little bit. Though I do hope that those of you who are joining me for just this toast are like, "Oh, hey, Alan's doing a live stream." Stick around, because then we can talk a little bit about what I do every Tuesday and Saturday on these streams. LotRO, absolutely fantastic. Yeah. Ah, my goodness. Leaped and leapt. That is one of those. It's like swim, swam, swum. I rewrite the sentence to make sure that I don't mess that one up. Um, Reading The Hobbit as the movies were coming out. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's I it, I think that's the amazing thing about Tolkien now versus Tolkien even when I came to him, but certainly even 15, 20 years before that, because from 1956, well, from 1937 until 1977, you didn't come to Tolkien through adaptations. Granted, yes, there was one BBC radio adaptation in 1956 that was not recorded. We don't have access to it. We just know it existed. We have some notes about it, some script notes. But other than that, there were no adaptations to speak of until the Rankin and Bass 1977 Hobbit, and then the 78 Bakshi, and then 79 Return of the King, and then the 81 BBC radio adaptation. And what I mean to say, and I'll try to say it quickly because we're getting very close to 1 o'clock, is that as time goes by, if we're looking at an XY graph, if the x-axis is time, the more we go to the right, the more people are coming to Tolkien through adaptations. That is, their first experience of Tolkien is the Hobbit films, the Lord of the Rings films, the Bakshi film, the Rankin and Bass Hobbit, the Lord of the Rings Online, the Rings of Power even. And while we can all criticize particular adaptations for little things here and there, the fact is it's bringing people into the fandom, and that I'm grateful for. And hopefully that's something that even the professor would see as a value. We are coming up on that time. So get your drinks ready. The toast is simple. We simply raise our glasses and say, the professor. That's all we do. I didn't have to tell you it was a Celsius. I could have just poured this glass and made you think I was drinking like a sparkling rosé or something. But yeah, I'm going to wait until my clock says 1 o'clock, and then I'll stand up and do the toast. And then we'll chat a little bit more before we get into proper PPP plays content. So yeah, but that's the thing. So those adaptations, whatever it takes to get us in the door, some people, they read because their friends told them about it. Whatever it takes, just get people into the books, and Tolkien will do the rest. And it's for that we're so grateful. So in just a moment, here we go. Stand with me. Raise your glasses to the professor. All right. Toast complete. 130. How many years did I say? 134? That is a long time. The world is such a better place because of Professor Tolkien. All right. So I realize now we have a lot of people joining us today who don't normally join me on these live streams. So just to let you know what I have done over the last, when did we start this? I think February or March of last year. The idea was that twice a week I needed an excuse to hang out with you all and to play games and relax and to do something that's not scripted, that's not, deeply researched, that's just fun. And so I started the PPP plays. It's the royal we, me and the mouse in my pocket. Also we, though, because Katie has been here at every single session to help me moderate. But I decided to start the PPP plays partly because I needed an excuse to to play games and to have fun. I was making my life all work and no play, and as we know, that makes Jack a very dull boy. And then he goes off and ends up in a hotel in the Rocky Mountains and kills people. Sorry for the Shining reference. So I didn't want to become a dull boy. I wanted to get some fun in, and so I started doing this stream. And so twice a week, on Tuesday evenings and Saturday afternoons, I'd play all things Middle-earth. Now, lately, it has been almost exclusively The Lord of the Rings Online, and it will be again today. And we'll talk a little bit about that again for those of you who are new to that game or to the show. But it's also a place where, I've done Magic the Gathering. I've done Legos. In fact, that's the next thing up. I was actually thinking about it today, but I was convinced by a number of folks that because of where I am in the storyline for LotRO, I should continue for a little while longer. But once I stop with that, I'm going to do a Lego build for the Balrog Book Nook. Uh, and then there'll be other things that we can do. We can play. We've done Shadow of War, Shadow of Mordor, whichever one I forget. We've done that. I've got Lego Lord of the Rings in the queue. I've got War in the North in the queue. So there's computer games, and then there's desktop stuff, tabletop stuff. I am, as you can see, the book spec or the games on that shelf. I am planning on doing a One Ring RPG run at some point. I'm also planning on learning how to play Journeys in Middle Earth solo or with others. So there are all sorts of things. If you can play it and it's Middle Earth, that's what the PPP plays is all about. So twice a week I do that. I hope that you'll join me, especially if you've never joined me before. I've actually been, I've not stayed at the Stanley Hotel, Sarah, but I have seen it after vacationing in Estes Park, drove up there. Man, that's Rocky Mountain National Park is one of the most beautiful places on earth. But I have not checked chat lately, so I should probably scroll and see. Oh, I love it. I love seeing all the professors because, of course, of the delay. I wasn't seeing those until after. That's great. I love that. So many first timers. I'm so glad to see so many of you here. Yes, as Katie has pointed out, for those of you who are joining us, especially first timers, please like the stream. That helps a lot. And Yonatan, of course, you like the Shining reference. I forget that you're a horror guy. I'm not, but I can't turn down a really, really good story like that one. Yeah, I am going to continue with Tom Ethedris, at least for a little while longer. Nogalon, yes, that's a great set. I've got all the Lego sets that I've got to figure out when to build, but I'm going to be doing that. It is a lot of fun. And yes, Happy New Year. Cheers to Professor Tolkien. Welcome, everybody. So one of the other things that we do here on the PPP Play stream is usually before I get into whatever I'm going to play that day, we just have it open for chat. So if you've got some questions, this is a great chance for you to just ask a Tolkien-related question or a podcast-related question or whatever you want. Throw it in the chat. I'll usually see it, at least in this part of the show. You can continue to ask questions throughout, and if I miss it, Katie will send it to me privately once I've got the screen over someplace else when I'm looking at the game. So, because I'm not one of these, young folk who can multitask super well. When I'm playing the game, I'm playing the game. It's very difficult for me to catch everything else, as people will tease me about regularly. So, if I can play it and it's Middle Earth, does this mean Alan will play and sing a ditty from the Legendarium? Well, Neil, I suppose if you provide me with printed sheet music and a pre-recorded music accompaniment, no. Yeah, it's I of course mean anything. Well, if I was musical, I would, honestly. But the fact is, really, anything that's just chill, that's fun, that's playing. So we've got Magic the Gathering, tabletop RPG, tabletop board games. I want to get back to the adventure book game that we did, which is where? It's over here. Yeah, the adventure book game. That was a lot of fun. I'm going to be working with Don Marshall to line up a schedule where we can do some more Magic. And then, of course, I still want to get to painting and building the armies for the War of the Rohirrim models or for the Lord of the Rings models that the Games Workshop puts out. Nate, did I see Miriam's Aldarian and Arenda's art? I did. It was glorious, as Miriam's art always is. For those of you who don't have her book, let me see if I can. I'm going to get you a link here and put it in the chat. The Art of Mercy in Middle Earth. It is a glorious book, and I'm going to get a link to post in the chat. Then I'm going to go back into the chat and catch up to some of the questions. Julia asks if I'd mind sharing how the moot in Dallas went. It actually went very, very well indeed. Big kudos to Katie and the team who put that together. Well, Katie put it together, but then we had a huge team of folks who helped actually pull it off in terms of tech, in terms of in-person support and organization. It went very, very well, especially for a relatively small event. We had, I think, Katie, we ended up with about 60 people in person and maybe a little more than that online, 75. It was really a lot of fun. The keynotes were just amazing. Chris Gilson, Brett Devereaux, and Sean Marchese all gave incredible talks, but really so did everybody. I think that's the thing that really impressed me the most was given the fact that we had only a little over half of the attendees that we had in 22, we still had almost the same number of talks, and they were just as good. It was great, really, really great. And of course, we just have so much fun. I mean, that's the whole point of the event is just to enjoy our people, enjoy time with our people, either virtually or in person. My favorite Tolkien poem, Hassel, would have to be. Why is my? Uh-oh. Okay, I am back, except I'm not back. All right. I'm hoping I'm back. Is everybody able to see and hear me still? So I think I know what happened. Earlier today, just before I started the stream, I spilled a little. I spilled a little water on my keyboard. Now it's an external keyboard. It's not. If I have to replace it, it's not the end of the world. And I think what was happening is that it was activating. So I turned off the keyboard, so I won't be able to type. But if I don't, that might mean that gameplay is different. We're going to see if I have a spare keyboard to use. So let me scroll back and see where we're back here. That was interesting, folks. Who are new to the show, please understand that doesn't usually happen. I sometimes lose the game stream, but I don't usually lose the me stream. Yeah. So scrolling back, Moot was great. Kakisha started attempting to read the Silmarillion and found the podcast. Yay! That's what we started it for, was to help folks get through the Silmarillion. So glad you've been enjoying that. That is huge because that was the whole reason we started it. Nate, I'm so glad you had a good time at the Moot. And yes, Miriam's book is fantastic. Eglerio, Jonathan. Praise Katie and Phil with great praise. Yeah. Done. I am 100% done. Yeah, you know what? And that was the sad part about Eldarion and Arendis. I know we still have 2 more episodes, I think, that you get to hear on that Sarah and I recorded well before Christmas. Yeah, I might just actually get up and do a hairdryer. I used a can of the compressed air. So we'll try that, but we'll also try some heat. Good first event. Yeah. I mean, it's your second time doing it, but a good event for people to attend who are first timers. Yes. I knew what you meant. Yeah. Put the ring on. That's right. Poof. I'm gone. I'm gone. It has no power over me. I'm like Tom Bombadil, except I don't sing in tetraic trocameter. Oh, the voice changer. Oh, you mean when I turn on something like this and forget that it's on? See, that's why I should be wearing these, because then I won't forget. But this is the one. No?
This. That's the one. See, that's the one I know you're thinking about. Yes, because it's a toggle. Yeah, once I press it, it's on.
So yeah, that's what happened. You just have to mention the voices and they come. Oh goodness, so much fun. All right. Well, I'll tell you what. Give me a second to go literally blow dry my keyboard and see if that helps. And you can just enjoy the view of the bookshelf, and you can each come up with a question about something on the shelf. So I'll zoom in while I go fix my keyboard. Be right back. Get this out of the way. All right. You could hear the hairdryer off screen. Oh, zooming out so you don't see my massive head. The difference between the two Great Tales box sets, those are actually, it's, oh, I see what you're talking about. You're talking about over there. So that's the one over here is actually a box set. The one over here is 3 individual volumes, and they're each signed by Alan Lee. So in fact, that shelf up there is my signed copy shelf. So, for example, the Hobbit is one of 500 signed by Alan Lee. Then there's the Super Deluxe Children of Hurin signed by Christopher Tolkien and Alan Lee. The Silmarillion, which was Ted Naismith and Christopher Tolkien. And then the 3 Great Tales signed by Alan Lee. And then that big single volume edition is the movie one that's got signatures from Peter Jackson, Fran Walsh, Philippa Boyens, and Sean Astin. Is that Tolkien or Bilbo? I love it. It is Bilbo. That's Bilbo at his desk. And that is a Weta sculpture. All my sculptures are from Weta Workshop. Let's see. Did I miss something else? Yeah. Why did you port to Bree when you meant to port to Rivendell? Good question. Which of my books am I not for reading? Which of your books are not for reading to preserve them? Good question, Voicey. Those right there, because they are signed. I honestly don't read these very much, not because they're being preserved, but because I much prefer to read the regular versions. The spines on these are a little stiffer and a little harder to get through. But I probably don't really read now that the folio editions over here, the folio deluxe, are kind of replicated in this set right here. I don't read the Folio Society Deluxe Edition because I don't want to mess those up. So those are really probably the only ones that I don't read in order to preserve them. Oh, sorry. I probably also don't read many on this shelf right here. Those include like the 1969 India Paper Deluxe Lord of the Rings. It includes like a First Impression Smith, First Impression Farmer Giles, things like that. But just those shelves. Everything else I read. Yeah, Alan Lee's actually he's a very prolific signer. He signs a lot of his stuff. Asking because I'd love to buy every different copy, but the missus asked the valid question. See, that's the thing. It is a valid question. And I just say it's a tax deduction because it's my business. Oh, the Weta Workshop figures are great, Nick. The tricky thing with the tree beard or with any of the ones that have all those little bits and pieces like the trees over Doran's doorway there. Um, those are very, very prone to breakage. So you have to be super careful getting those out of the box. Um, I actually had to repair that after I pulled it out of the box because I snapped a small part. Katie says my new edition is obviously going to be my new reading copy. Your 1969 India paper edition. Catherine, yeah, that's actually the plate that I have on my car because my car is wrong way. My car is black and powered by dead dinosaurs because it's a V8. So it basically it's a dragon. So my wine is fizzy and full of caffeine, which is really good. No, I did not have to repair it with a hammer. That was the Theoden statue that they required me to destroy for them to send a replacement. No, I repaired it with just a little bit of super glue. Jonathan asks, any books by Tolkien that I haven't read yet? Yeah, I have not yet read right there the new. I couldn't remember the name of it for the life of me for just a moment. I totally lost. I knew it was the something fragments, the Bovadium fragments. I have not yet read. I've skimmed it. I have also not read. Trying to figure out where it is. I've not read Finn and Hengist. The fragments. It's very much more one of his more, Old English scholarly works. So it's a little above my head. Other than that, I believe I've read everything on that shelf. It's just that I've not read every copy of everything on the shelf because there are something like a dozen copies each of the Lord of the Rings, the Hobbit, and the Silmarillion. No, Nate. Riker and Data are starting a podcast. Oh, man. Well, folks, I guess the PPP is going to have to come to an end soon, so I have time to listen. Samwise Samji, that's a great question. What book or edition was the most difficult to acquire? Honestly, it's one I still haven't gotten yet. I'm still trying. So my first edition, Farmer Giles, is a first edition US, and I typically try to collect first impression UK, except for the big ones, right? Hobbit and Lord of the Rings, forget it. Those are out of my price range. I'll never be able to afford a first impression of either of those. I believe first impression of the Hobbits are close to six figures, and first impressions of the Lord of the Rings are in the I could buy a car for that range. So yeah, Hobbit, you can buy a house for that. Lord of the Rings, you can buy a car for that. Those are beyond my reach. But first impressions UK of Smith, Farmer Giles, Adventures of Tom Bombadil, Tree and Leaf, those are all things that I'm still going after. Some of them I have, but some of them I've had to settle for first impression US, and one of those is Farmer Giles. So I would say for me, the trickiest bit is finding a first UK Farmer Giles in good shape. I found a couple, but the covers were just the dust covers were toast. So that would be my answer to that question. It's a good question though. Of the ones I have, the most difficult to acquire would have been the Folio Deluxe Hobbit. I had to go on the secondary market for that. Thankfully, one of the PPP listeners had bought 2 copies, and so I was able to purchase a copy directly from him because they'd sold out in like 2 hours. It's like, I really do wish that they would limit people to one each, because then I would have gotten it. Yeah, only the books that I bought once I started the podcast, of course. Recently listened to a book called Why We Love Middle Earth. Have I read it? Can I give? If you listen to it, well, then the voice might sound familiar because, of course, I narrated that book. Yeah, good question. Thank you, though. It's a fun book to read. It's a fun book to narrate. It was a fun book to write. Would I recommend the History of Middle Earth in numerical order or something different? That is another excellent question, Neil. It depends on what your interests are. If your interests lay in first age, earliest stuff, then absolutely start with the first of them in order. I want to make sure that I get these correct. So, I've not turned on the keyboard. We're going to try turning on the keyboard and see what happens, okay? If I disappear, I'll try to come back. Here we go. Okay. So far, so good. So I'm going to pull up. I just want to make sure that I get the order correct on these. Yeah, so Book of Lost Tales 1 and 2, Lays of Beleriand. I would say that's where you want to go if you really enjoy the first age and you want to just read them as a whole to see the entire development of his writing corpus. if you are a hardcore Lord of the Rings fan, like what I did, because I'm more Lord of the Rings focused, I started with The Return of the Shadow, which is volume 6, and then The Treason of Isengard and The War of the Ring. That way I was reading the history of the Lord of the Rings. The other thing you could do is if you want some fun to kind of start with those extra stories that you've all heard about, go with Morgoth's Ring, and the Peoples of Middle Earth. Start there. But yeah, it depends. If you're really strong Lord of the Rings, like that's your favorite part, start with Return of the Shadow and read volumes 6, 7, and 8 first, and then see what you want to do. Serious question from Hassel. Which of the home books has the most information about dwarves in it? I don't know. You're probably looking at Morgoth's Ring and the Peoples of Middle Earth. Probably Peoples of Middle Earth. That's where you get of Dwarves and Men, which is probably the most important writing. You also get the making of Appendix A on Durin's folk. But I think Morgoth's Ring is going to have a lot too. Morgoth's Ring is going to have... No, Morgoth's Ring is like the later Quenta, as well as the Athrobeth, which is fantastic. Yeah, I think your best bet's probably going to be Peoples of Middle Earth. Maybe Lost Road? I don't know. Let me take a look. I'm not as familiar with Lost Road. Nope. That's the Fall of Numenor, Valinor and Middle Earth before the Lord of the Rings. So I would start with Peoples on that one. I think that's the one that we quoted from at length last year. If you want to know for sure, go back to the episodes that we did last year on the dwarves out of the appendices. There's one that we did that was that Sarah wrote, and it was a lot of dwarven stuff. It was on Dwarves from History of Middle Earth. So episode 371 is where you're going to go to find all of the things that we pulled. And there was stuff from War of the Jewels called Concerning the Dwarves. So that's War of the Jewels. We get some also from Book of Lost Tales. We got some from Book of Lost Tales too. But that's where you're going to find all of that stuff. So go to episode 371 to start there. Yeah, you're definitely welcome. Good question. Well, my goodness, we have actually done what we normally do, which is talk for about 20 minutes after the start of the stream, but we've done it since the toast. So any last few questions before I jump into the stream, now that my keyboard appears to be working? And thank you for the hairdryer tip. I'm hoping the compressed air helped as well, doing both. Best kind of a toast is a toast that leaves the glass empty. If I could have only one elf on the shelf, who would I have? Finrod. Finrod is definitely my favorite elf. Planning to see the extended editions. If I can get a ticket, the problem is just the timing. Katie's like, he's going to say Finrod. I said Finrod. Yeah. I am planning on seeing the extended editions. I really, you know me, I'm going to sometimes criticize elements of the film. I'm still not a fan of what they did to Faramir. I'll always, I'm a Faramir stan, so of course I'm going to be, cheering on the original Faramir. But the films are just a fantastic visualization of Middle Earth. It is exactly the way I pictured it in almost every place. If I could cast a character into the fire. Ale. Far and away the worst. As bad as Feanor is, Ale is the worst. Because even Myglin, you could almost blame Myglin on Ale. Actually, you really can. I mean, that's the thing. We talk in Eldarion and Horrendous about the generational trauma, right? We talk about the damage that they did to their daughter on Kalame and the damage that she did to her son and to her granddaughters. But also we kind of look up and we see kind of with Horrendous's mom, a little bit of potential like generational issues. So Eol, clearly caused all sorts of problems with his son Myglin. So Myglin's betrayal, which was the worst betrayal ever in Middle Earth, you could still some kind of lay a lot of that at Eowl's feet. Because Eowl taught him the idea that he is entitled to take what he wishes, and that a woman's consent is not to be considered. And yeah, Eowl needs to go in the fire. Yeah, I am excited too. It's been a long time, Julia, since I've seen the extended editions in theaters. It's I'm trying to remember when it was, but it was a long time ago. I did a marathon where it was all three of the films in one day, and I think it started at 10 a.m. and with the breaks for meals, because of course they took long breaks, hour and a half breaks, I think. So with the hour and a half breaks, it was like 10 a.m. to midnight. I don't disagree that the Sons of Feanor, or at least most of the Sons of Feanor, especially the ones whose names start with the letter C, definitely also deserve the fire. But yeah, yeah, it's hard to pick just one. Yeah, and exactly the ownership of Idril. It was the same way that Eol, owned Aradel. He I still cringe every time I read that line. She was not wholly unwilling. Can we unpack that a bit and understand that not wholly unwilling means she was partially unwilling? That's a big. That's the meme that I've seen lately of the elephant in the room and it says "address me." That's very much what I think of when I see that line. Um, my mom's saying for the first time. That's so cool. That's so cool. Yeah, those C's. It is really those C's. Um, yes, Hassel. They're doing a special showing of the three extended editions one weekend after the next, so 3 weeks in a row, which is a whole lot better than three at a time. As much fun as that was, and it was a lot of fun. Doing them back to back to back is also, whoo, man, that's quite a thing. I mean, seriously, I think I got up that morning at like 8 o'clock, made myself some breakfast, got up to the theater at 10 because it was at a theater that was like 30 minutes, 40 minutes from my house. I get up there, and this was maybe 2016, 2017. Like, I think I'd started the podcast, but like nobody had heard of it. And, I get up there and we sit down and we watch the first movie and then we break for lunch and it's like, 11:30. And then, I mean, just the whole thing lasted forever, forever. But yeah, that's the thing. Waiting a year, I I actually went to, oh, what movie was it? It was a terrible movie. It was Pearl Harbor. I think it was Pearl Harbor because they were going to, that was where the movie you were going to see the trailer for Fellowship of the Ring. If you went to see, so I went to the movie theaters to see Pearl Harbor so I could see the Fellowship of the Ring trailer, and then I left. I'm not going to watch that trash. So, but yeah, to have to wait for a year, I'll never forget that. Absolutely never forget what that was like. A whole year to wait, you know? Yeah, 12 listeners, only six of whom weren't related to either of us. Um, by blood or marriage. But yeah, no, those were some early ones. I will tell you the very first time that I knew that somebody listened to the show was a year and a half later. I went to the little Hobbit party that they have up in LA. The LA chapter of the Tolkien Society does an event at Griffith Park, the Bilbo Baggins birthday bash. Uh, they win my heart for the alliteration. So it's the Bilbo Baggins birthday bash, and I go there and I'm wearing the T-shirt that Sean's wife made with her printer, because that was our earliest T-shirts were ones that she made with her vinyl press. And somebody recognized it and wanted to take their picture with me, and I thought, well, that's weird. Why would you want to take your picture with me? So now I've gotten used to it. You've never seen the extended editions. It is 1000% worth seeing, Catherine. I can't begin to tell you how much better the extended editions make the films. To see this, the gift giving scene alone, the extended edition, there's so much more. It also fixes some of the things that I think are the weak spots in the films. I mean, it doesn't fix Faramir, and you don't get to see Glorfindel, but it is absolutely, it is definitely well worth. The extended editions are well worth it. I don't even watch the regular editions anymore. I haven't watched the regular editions since the extended editions came out. They're good, don't get me wrong, but the extended editions are the definitive version. If I could remember the tune, Hassel, I think I'm properly willing to humiliate myself enough to sing the Ballad of Bilbo Baggins. I mean, I sang a bunch of songs at karaoke at the Moot, and I was actually sober. Um, I mean, where else are you going to find me doing a duet of White Wedding with Corey from Signum University and Mythmoot, or me and Sean doing 500 Miles? That was so much fun. That's fair, Voicey. If it's first time viewers, I'd say watch the normal version. I think SoCaliquendy is doing some of the events, but also could be the Tolkien Society's the LA Smile, the Tolkien Society, which is what are that's it's the one that Clifford's in, Katie. I don't remember. Um, but yeah. Ooh, a candlelight concert. Yeah, OneRing.net. Well, that's true because OneRing.net kind of runs that group. They do. SoCaliquendy run. Okay, that's good to know. I didn't know that. Nothing fixes Faramir, and he's my absolute favorite character in the entire Legendarium. So, oh, thank you. Katie reminds me. Remember to check here too. Thank you. Um, yeah, Aeol is a yeah. Myglin being the only elf who willingly sided with Morgoth. Yeah. Shout out to your kids, Nate, for agreeing not to fight. Oh, that's awesome. So you were able to get a peace accord with your children while you're I hope you gave her that for Christmas. That's a lovely gift. Self-care, super important. What a nice gift. Good. I'm glad you found them. The SoCaliquendy folk are amazing. I've had the privilege of going to one of their events in San Diego before Christmas, and have also, gotten to talk with a few of their members on Fandom Friday for today's Tolkien Times. Good choice, Nick. That is a good sculpture. It's not one I have. As you can see, I've got my Boromir, the Horn, I've got Aragorn, the Doors of Durin, and then several of the minis. The 1/6 scales are a little tougher to find room for. And I think the Treebeard one is a full-size one. Correct me if I'm wrong. It might be a mini. But yeah, I think I'm going to go ahead and play. What do you think? Should I go ahead and get into Lord of the Rings Online? For those of you who are new to the stream, who have never been on a PPP plays, the Lord of the Rings Online is more than 18 years old. It is an old school video game, MMORPG, meaning massively multiplayer online role-playing game. And it is one of the best adaptations of the Lord of the Rings. It just really is. They capture the flavor of locations, of characters. There's not a lot of voiceover to the text, so I provide a lot of the voiceover when I read the text that's been written, but the text is fantastically written. And yeah, I think it's time right now. So, and I don't play any other big MMORPGs, so that's a thing. Yeah, I mean, I think I did. I think I got into the original EverQuest back when it came out, or EverCrack as it was known. I know Sean did as well, which is why he's so hesitant to play Lord of the Rings Online. But yeah. All right, let me go ahead and add the extra camera here, which is my streamer. Oh, my PC has fallen asleep, of course. Hold on a moment, please. Well, no, we got it. So streamer X, add that camera. So it does mean, though, that in order to actually see the screen, I'm going to take that little chat that's on the stream and put that away. So those of you on YouTube and Twitch will still be able to talk to each other, of course, but Twitchers and YouTubers will not be able to communicate directly after I turn off this chat. There we go. All right. Switch screens, move that over here. I'm sure there's some fancy Gen Z way to get this done differently, but this is how I do it. So I play on my PC and I stream the PC to my Mac, and then the Mac sends my camera out along with the PC stream. So that's why sometimes I'll lose the game, but still be able to talk to you. And if that happens, usually Katie she'll kind of do that. What is it? A groundhog? The one that says, Alan. It works. I have no audio. Why do I have no audio? Because it's muted. Okay, for fun, I went ahead and got a one of the, what do they call them, the patrons coffers. So that's the clothing that comes with the jaunty coffer, the jaunty patrons coffer. We'll change back to normal clothes, but I wanted you all to see that. I feel like it's only fair for me to buy those coffers every now and then to help support the game, since it is, I don't pay anymore for the game. I when I bought the game, I paid, I think, what seemed like a lot at the time, $119 for lifetime VIP. I'd say I've gotten my money's worth 18 years later. So let's decline that. So I'm going to go ahead and change back to some normal clothes for him. Not the swimsuit. This is the swimsuit that one of our listeners, Demay, actually got for me to wear in the game. I like the Three Peaks one. Maybe the little River Hobbit stuff. Okay. So the other thing that I did while you were not looking since last Tuesday, I went ahead and leveled myself using a couple of missions to get to 75 so that I could put on my new gear. So I've got all new gear that I had crafted from my crafting alts. So alts, again, I'm trying to remember that there are going to be people who've never seen the game. Alts are characters that aren't your main character. They're like characters you rolled later and played through. And so that way I have a character that can create or craft different items. So I have a character that does all my medium armor. I have a character that does all my jewelry and things like that. So I had created a bunch of stuff for him that he could only wear when he got to 75. So I went ahead and leveled to 75. And now I'm going to equip what's called the Stone of the Tortoise. This will actually disable my XP gain. Yeah, I'll just stop that. And so now I won't out-level the content anymore. I had pretty out leveled it all, which is why these are all green quests now. For those of you who aren't used to it, you'll see different color coding. It'll go from white down to blues and greens, or up to oranges and reds if it's more difficult. So right now I'm stuck in Talmethedris, in Dunland. Okay, so let's take a look at the map. So we are down here in Dunland. Okay, so this is Isengard, right? So Dunland is the area to the west of the Misty Mountains. And you can see where I am right here, the little red triangle. And there are some icons indicating what I need to do. This whole region up here where I'm circling with the mouse is called Talmethedris. And then there's the rest of Dunland down here. Okay, so this is the rest of Dunland with the Starkmoor and the Dunbog and the Gravenwood and all these areas. And eventually you get to the Gap of Rohan through that, or you get over to Isengard, which we'll have to see at some point. So I have a few quests. They're all part of this big one, which is to complete the preparations in this town. And some of those that I have to do are down in by the other shore of the lake. So we're not turning those on for now because there's no point. I'm trying to do the ones that are local first. So that means I need to go talk to the rangers and see what they have in store for me. All right. And now just catching up. Free to play for a few years. Yeah. And it is free to play. So folks, if you are interested in it, it is free. You can actually be fairly, get most of your content without having to worry about spending money. But eventually things like content packs, you'll want to purchase when they're on sale. I always advise folks who are playing the game to wait and see. Don't buy all the content packs before you need them. Wait until you're there. Oops. One of them's up here somewhere. Let's go talk to this guy first. Doing your intro now. Right on. What class have you chosen? A Palantir to stream multiple chats. I'd love that. All right, Rodanier.
I've seen more manure already in Dunland than I have in my entire life in the north.
Wow, he is grumpy today. I know allies among the Dunlendings are precious few. Entire life back north, and I've lost the stream. Hey, that's why it's so cool that I happen to be catching that. Oh, well, that's odd. Hold on a minute. I will fix this. Hold on. I don't know why I'm having a hard time getting to the screen that I need to. There we go. There we go. All right. Thank you for your patience. And Katie, thank you for notifying me. In this case, I actually happen to notice right away, which is really rare. As most of you know, I'm fairly clueless. Okay. Oh, hold on. I need to pull the chat back up. I accidentally closed that when I had to access the cameras. There we go. Yearly VIP. Good idea. All right. Oh, So Caliquendi intro. Gotcha. I thought you meant like a Lord of the Rings intro. Like, woohoo, how fun. All right. Anybody who wants to play the game, do feel free to join on the Peregrine server because that's where the Prancing Pony podcast has a kinship, and we have our own Discord channel. We're happy to bring you into the game. So anyway, he's complaining. I've seen more manure than I have in my entire life. I could be doing something useful, but they hand me a hay fork and tell me to get to work. I do not like these men, Hilbern, and it is not because of the manure. There are plenty of reasons, but the smell of manure has made me forget most of them. I say we bid them farewell and leave them to their own device. Okay. Well, so he's not pleased. So now we need to talk to two other rangers. One is down here, and the other is to the closer to the lake. Oh, Halberad, one of my favorites. That is a great deal to do before the Falcon clan is ready. But this work will be worth it in the end. We have few enough allies in this land. If the sweat of our brow can help the Hebogluth stand against the clans loyal to Saruman, the work is worth it. We've already brought much in the way of food. Once it is dried or preserved, it will be wrapped and ready. My arms ache, but not so badly that I must stop. I love Halberad. All right, let's we're gonna fall here because I'm in a hurry. Let's go talk to this guy. Whee! Ski down the mountain slope. Break an ankle.
I've been assisting Roos with the tanning. It's dirty, odious.
Odious work. Tanning? Yeah, that would be. Leather making. But the Falcon clan needs the leather if they're to have fresh armor for its warriors. I saw Radanir not long ago. He was not very happy about something, but will not tell me what it was. Right now, I'm working to clear this brush so we can stretch to more hides as they come in. So now I'm supposed to talk to Penrod, who's back up at the top. And I can port to him, so I'm going to do that.
Thank you for your help and theirs.
I am sorry your friend Radanir is unhappy. Mucking out the auction is not a pleasant task, but if it is not done, all suffer. There are very few desirable tasks when it comes to preparing for war, Hilbern, but all must be done. Penrod laughs heartily. But I am not ankle-deep in manure, am I? Perhaps I will find someone to take Radanir's place. We're grateful for the help and do not want any of the rangers to resent volunteering it. Thank you for your help and theirs, Hilbern. The clans arrayed against us are fierce and merciless, but they do not have allies from the north as we do. All right, so we still need to continue the rest of the preparations in Turmorva, and in this case, it looks like it's all four down there. The interesting thing is that's only four more, so I'm not sure where the other two are, but we'll turn on all those. Ah, there we are. So we have to figure out where these guys are. So we're basically gathering the quests first so that we could do some ones that overlap. So he doesn't have one for us anymore. Oh, that's right. One of... Okay. So some of the ones that have the rings on the map, they're ones that are in progress, right? So those are the ones that we've got to go down to the lakeside for. But we're going to see if we can pick up any new ones. No, Roos has already given us one. Let's check back here. Do I know what today is? Today is Tolkien's birthday. We did a lovely toast to the professor earlier. Okay, it looks like we're all in progress here. So let's go on to the other side of the lake. I'm going to get on my horse and ride. As Freddie Mercury might sing, "Get on your horse and ride." Of course, it was a bike, not a horse. And those are the only lyrics from that song that I can possibly sing on this family-friendly show. What mic is this? This is the Electro Voice RE20. A moonstone. All right. We are already on the other side of the lake, so let's turn these ones on. And the first thing we're going to start seeing, it looks like, is curing the leather. And that's going to be recover a suitably tough skin from a slain Talmethedrus ox. We also will have to look for footprints. We'll have to look for some enemies, I think, to kill as well, toads and creatures in Talmethedrus while bearing this charm. Talmethedrus oxen, so we're going to take care of one of those. Thank you very much. Yeah, it's my background is in voiceover, so even for a dynamic mic, I can typically choose a good one, but I prefer my Sennheiser, but that's not going to work for this kind of thing. That's too sensitive to outside sounds. Okay. So we still need to kill some creatures. Oh, we have gotten the tough skin. That's good. So we still need to kill 4 more creatures. Good night, Catherine. Oh, and both Catherines, actually. One of you shall do your own. Yep, 9 o'clock. Do it 9 o'clock. You missed ours. I'm so sorry. And KCP, take care. Thank you for joining us today. So glad you could be here for the toast. And yes, if those of you who are just joining me now or who missed the toast that we did at 1 p.m. Pacific time, just plan on doing one at 9 o'clock p.m. your local time. That's the standard time. You just grab a drink of your choice, and then at 9 p.m. you stand up, you raise the glass, and you say, "The professor." And that's it. Let's see. So I wonder if the crawling Avank will count as the 10th creature for Charm of the Huntsman. And the answer is apparently yes. Now I need to also defeat toads and scrape residue from their skins, but also find a set of footprints. Okay, so that's where the footprints are. Oh no, HDMI and display ports. That's a rough day. That's a rough day. I've had some problems with an HDMI port before, mostly just with HDCP handshaking, but all right, let's see here. Oh, I hit the wrong skill. So mostly, for those of you who are joining for the first time, LotRO is about just exploring the stories. I mean, yes, there's gameplay, and every once in a while there's peril. Please, sir, may I have a little peril? They're the toads that I'm supposed to kill. But mostly it's about the story, And so as we're going around, if you have questions about where we're at in the game, where we're at in the game world, questions about Tolkien, whatever, that's one of the things that we try to keep going here in the chat. And Katie will do a good job of getting those questions to me if I miss them in the chat itself. What I think about the Rings of Power, too much to say in one stream. You might want to check out the Rings of Power wrap-up. That's the podcast that James, Sarah, and I started back when, Sean and I first started it, but we started it before the show actually debuted. So that made things a little different. But if you go to that show, you'll hear the thoughts that we have on the episodes themselves. Including, if you just wanted a shortcut, the last episode of each season has our report cards. The footprints appear to have been made by someone not wearing shoes. Okay, find a set of footprints beneath the rocky cliffs. So that's going to be over here. Trying not to aggro the Avonks. I don't think the toads are automatically. Yeah, the toads are not. There's some more footprints. Okay, so now we're going to go back to town and we'll turn in each of these. Yeah, I'm with Nate, by the way. I recommend not skipping, but you can always skip those and then come back and hear why. But Winfor listens as you describe the footprints you found on the far shore of the lake. He nods. Those sound like women's feet, Hilbern. Some woman is creeping around in the dark and she does not want to be found. If she's not one of ours and she's not one of yours, then she is an enemy. Hand me those Avank jaws.
This string and stretch it here.
Okay, so he wants to make a trap for whoever it is. I'm not sure that it's necessarily an enemy, but I guess we'll find out. Try to see if there's anybody else down here that we need to talk to, but I think they're all up here. Oh, no, they are down there. They're further down. I know, someone not wearing shoes. That was my thought. Yeah, I'm wondering if we're going to get season 3 at the usual time, or if we're going to get it late since they finished shooting fairly late.
This ox I will serve.
Ah, I need to clean the leather in the sudsy buckets. Cleaned a strip of leather. What do you do in this game? Well, you clean leather and then you turn it into you beat it.
Good.
Whack. I'm pretty sure one whack isn't going to do it. All right. But, you know, Roos is a nice guy.
She'll be just about ready for these ox skins. Bring them
Okay. So now I'm going to take those to Tav over on the shore of the lake. I'm also going to return. I think there's somebody else I turn in here. But yeah, there we go. He's going to want the leather skins, the hides now. Oh, no, that's Ewan. That's the one who wants the toad residue.
Toad residue?
Oh.
There it is. Let's see how potent it is.
Let's see how potent this toad residue is. This guy. Before you can stop him, Ewan sticks out his tongue and licks the residue. Suddenly his eyes cross and he turns a pale shade of green. It is just what we need. A coating of this on our weapons will do great harm to the disloyal clans. And now he needs me to find the healer to make something that will cure him because he's an idiot and tasted his own poison. All right. That's a brave man.
You have helped Roos with the tanning. Now you'll help me, yes? I need more dye if this armor is to bear the mark of the falcon.
Okay. We are going to go talk to the healer because I'm in a hurry. We're going to just pour it up.
Ewan is a fool and always has been.
Ewan is a fool. Yeah. He's not very bright. And after this, we'll also port back to Kungan to turn in the Charm of the Huntsman. Unless it's right up here. I think he might be up here. I don't remember. Oh, no. He's all the way up there. Hey, guy. Next time, don't try your own poison. But here you go.
Oh, I feel terrible.
I feel terrible.
Wonderful.
Oh, man, that's great. All right. Let's turn this into Kungan so we get to choose. What are these pocket items? One's agility, vitality, and crit rating. I might use that when I stop using the... or maybe not, because I've got that. All right. So we still need to find a place to set the traps and collect lakeside plants. So... All right, lakeside plants all the way over there. We're just going to break ankles on the way down. But yeah, it's the game has so many little hidden Easter eggs. We'll encounter them. Maybe not in this particular storyline. They do such a good job of filling in the gaps in a way that feels very Tolkienian, very respectful of the source material. I can't say that's the case for every adaptation, but I can say that for this one. Ah, there we go. There's a lakeside plant. Does the boat mean that I can go? Aha, it does. I can immediately port over to the other side. That's nice. So there's another lakeside plant. And we can immediately set a suitable place to set the traps. Yeah, he thought he developed an immunity to iocane powder, but he discovered that he had not. This is a suitable place to set the traps. Those guys will come after me, so let's just get them out of the way. Gather the lakeside plant. So basically, I'm just waiting for the game to tell me this is a suitable place to set your trap. Nate says that Corey was talking in one of his streams about how well they integrate. Yes, Hobbit and Lord of the Rings integrated quite well in Mirkwood. Mm-hmm. Pop in for a moment. Hello, Alina. Welcome. Somewhere around here has got to be the place to set some traps, right? Oh, I know. I think I'm supposed to just set them anywhere in this area. I'm not so sure these Avonks would go after me. I was pretty close to them. It didn't aggro them. You have left the suitable place. Okay, so now this would be a suitable place. Okay. So all three of those traps have been done. Now we just need to continue collecting the lakeside plants, which will go down and do that. You've used up all the traps and should return to Windfor, which I know, but I will do after I have collected the lakeside plants. There's one. Oddly enough, for lakeside plants, all I need to do is walk along the lakeside. Who would have known? And conveniently enough, the sixth one is near the boat. But do you think I'm going to use the boat to go back? Not when I could spend a single mithril coin and go straight to the quest giver.
Take the plants to my grinding.
Grind up some dye.
Into a fine powder.
So now I get to grind the dye. You collect the crushed plant dye from the grinding stone. And now I need to draw the mark. Excuse me. Sorry about that. I draw a passable falcon's claw on the armor. Yeah, it's pretty passable. It's better than I could draw one. I think I'll take the even dim blue dyes. Okay. And now I'm going to go talk to Windfor further up the hill. Well, that's the cool thing about buying the patrons' coffers is they come with like 500 mithril coins. So spending one is not a big deal. So I get some traps and some runes. Now I go talk to Penrod. I'm going to walk up there since we're not too far. Oh, wait, where is he? Oh, yeah, I don't have that active, but he should be at the top of the hill. Yep. So we've now completed all 10 fetch quests in Tur Morva. All right, Penrod.
Lord Braineen wants to see you. The prisoner is giving the guards trouble.
The preparations have been coming along very well, Hilbern. These rangers are hard workers, but none more so than you, good River Hobbit. Penrod's approving laughter fades, and he becomes solemn once again. Llybrenin wants to see you. The emissary from Isengard that he captured is giving the guards trouble. Go see the Brennan outside his home, up the hill to the south. Okay, so he's all the way at the top of the hill from the other way. So I got to go up here, sort of the upper half of the town. And that's the fun thing about something like this. Like, you don't have to be a gamer to enjoy Lord of the Rings Online. I mean, maybe you do if you wanted to do Shadow of Mordor or Shadow War or something like that. But this is just a fun chance to, like, walk around Middle-earth. In a way, it's sort of a walking simulator, especially when I've leveled myself up to the point that nothing's really too difficult. All right. Llybrenin. All of Tormorva is alive with the sound of work. It is good. There are many clans siding with the wizard in this conflict. I feared the Falcon clan would not be ready if it came to war with them. With your help and that of these rangers, the Falcon can show its talons.
The emissary Saruman sent to us is being kept under watch in the prison cave.
And yes, I will say, Nate, that the money that you spend to buy most of the coffers is about how much you'd spend to get the mithril coins anyway. So then you get the cosmetics for free, which is, I don't really care that much about the cosmetics, but I know some folks do. The baubles are kind of fun. But, you know, steeds, mounts are nice. But yeah, it's mostly just about that. Plus, you also get a lot of virtue XP that you can then use on other characters. It's bound to your account, not to your character. But I always recommend only buy points when you get the double points bonus, because then your points are cheaper per dollar. And then that way, when you buy something, you're not paying as much for it. But yeah. Level 69 player doing 51 epics. Yep, absolutely. That's why I've given myself the tortoise stone now, though. I want to slow down that leveling until things get at least back to dark blue. You know, the emissary Saruman sent us for our cooperation. He's being kept under watch in the prison cave. He has not told us anything of use yet, but perhaps you can inspire him to speak. Go into the prison cave and speak to the guard nigh. He will allow you to press the captive for information. Return and tell me if the captive has anything useful to say. If he does not, perhaps his usefulness is at an end, and Nye can be given something else to do. Prison caves are to the south. Follow the path. You will see the entrance among the ruins on your left-hand side, in the cliff. Prison caves. I'll save you the walk. Prisoners in the cell behind you.
You have the permission of the Brennan
To speak with the prisoner? Very well. You may go in. He should pose you no danger. He knows that if he tries anything, he will do without meals. Donthreg.
Do not mistake these people for friends. It will be you in my place next.
Have you come to gloat, River Hobbit? You are no Dunlending. Do not mistake these people for friends. It will be you in my place next. Mark what I say. Donthreg glowers at you, his eyes full of hate. They cannot defeat Saruman. They are fools to try. The other clans are wiser and know which way the tide is going. Already most of Dunland pledges their swords to my master. His armies come from Dunbog and Carglin and Starkmoor, and these unprepared fools will find themselves on the wrong side of the wave. It could have been different. I care not. It is enough to know that my captors will be slain by their own kinsmen soon enough, and you gloaters along with them. Okay, well, that's the information that he's had to share with us. It's not good information. Katie, thank you for continuing to tell folks how amazing this game is for that reason. It's like you don't have to be a gamer to be interested in watching these streams.
What have you learned?
From our guest, Hilbern. Brennan listens to your report of Donthrig's words. There is truth there, I fear, if only a kernel. We must learn how large the kernel may be.
I need
Our
someone.
prisoner spoke of the other Dunlanding clans, as if they were already in Saruman's satchel. That is my fear, but his words may be born from bluster and desperation. The Falcon clan is strong, but even our strength may not be enough to face all the clans of a united Dunland. I need someone that I can trust to travel throughout Dunland and see the state of things. Is Galtrev still as it was? Do the herds of Starkmoor feed Saruman's lackeys? What is the mood of the people of distant Dunbog? Are the mines of Carriglin still being worked, and for whom? I need you to be my eyes in this, Hilbern. Go first to Catherine and Galtrev, she who sent you to us. See what is happening in Dunland and help those who share our goals. Saruman must be opposed by the Rangers and by the Falcon clan, if by no others. All right. We are going to port directly to Katrin. And I'm going to catch up on chat. Yeah. Breeze through the gameplay to focus on the story. Rings of Power even has some LotRO Easter eggs. Katie, you'll have to tell me about that. A roving threat. Nate, good luck with that. Bye, Sarah. All right. You have returned, and on an errand from Lou Brennan. Old Katrin is still a good judge of character, is she not? Katrin cackles and does a shuffling type of dance. To answer your... And I will not try to do the dance, just so you know. That's beyond my skill set. To answer your questions, Galtrev is home to people of many clans, as it has been for all of my memory. The Ox clan has been more brazen in recent days, and it seems... Sorry, I forgot to do my old... my old woman voice, my witchy voice. To answer your questions, Galtrev is home to people of many clans, as it has been for all of my memory. The Ox clan has been more brazen in recent days. It seems to me they must have received encouragement from some source, some wizard, if you ask for Katrin's opinion. While you were at Tur Morva, someone has been helping me with my little resistance against the Ox clan. She did not want to stay within the walls of Galtrev, and has a camp to the southwest. She would not tell me her right name, but asked that I call her Wadu's ghost. You should seek her out. She was asking about your ranger friends. I think we know who this is, right? Remember, Wadu was the brother that we met that got himself killed. And this would be his sister, whose name escapes me briefly. I'm sure I'll get it mentioned here. Let's get on a horse and head over there. Nona, thank you, Katie. Oh, somebody wants to give me a mission now. Oh, that's a raid.
You would call them.
I'm not taking a raid right now. So there's Small Fellowship, which is up to 3 players, Fellowship, which is up to 6, and Raid, which can be 12 or 24, I think, right? Correct me if I'm wrong, because I don't do raids. I think I've done like 1 or 2 in my entire gaming career here. Yeah, Nona is a great character, no doubt about it. Oh, hey, resource nodes. I'm in an area now where I actually have to get the resources because... Okay. I need to get my leveling, you get my leveling skills or my crafting skills leveled up for him. Okay. Means I have to gather all the Kalinard scarn and all the birch branches and things. Nona! Hey, Nona!
We meet again, as I knew we would.
I am a free woman of the Ukhruth, sister to Wadu, and with victory notches already upon my sword. I am free to go where I please. I need no permission from your northern friends to walk these lands that belong to me and mine. Catrin of the Hebogluth and I of the Ukhruth have already made things difficult for those who would sell these lands and its people to Saruman. I am ready to strike against them throughout all of Dunland in my brother's name, if you are willing.
I will be Wadu's ghost and defeat the true enemies of Dunland.
I love it. I love it. Danger seems to follow you wherever you go, Hilbern. I like that. I will be Wadu's ghost and defeat the true enemies of Dunland, faithless clans who swear loyalty to Saruman. The land to the west is called the Starkmoor. You say that Lou Brennan wished to know the state of its herds? There are many herd animals in the Starkmoor, and he who controls them will have much food production close at hand. Enough for an army? Aye. There is a farmhouse in the northwest corner of the Starkmoor among the hills. I've seen it from afar. I will meet you there, and we can scout for the information Lou Brennan desires to know. All right, let's go talk to you there. Boom. So in the early days, I would have had to walk over here. But so you can take a look at the map. We were in Thomethedris up here in the northeast of the map. We ended up in Galtrev in the middle. That's when we talked to Katrin. And then we met Nona here just outside Galtrev. And she's now having us meet further over to the west in the southwest here in Starkmoor. If I ever wanted to do raids, I do know a fairly helpful kin. That's true. All right.
The herds of Starkmoor feed many of the clans of Dunland.
If this farmland is held by those loyal to Saruman, he will have a source of food for his armies, but can also starve those who oppose him. Go up to the farmhouse at the top of the slope to the west and see how things stand. You should also scout some of the fields and enclosures nearby to the west. All right. So we are here, and we need to check out Nobody to talk to there. But we have explored an area, so we've gotten a new deed, exploring the Starkmoor. There are 6 places in Starkmoor that if we explore them all, we get little bonuses. The field is full of grains, planted but yet to be harvested. Oh, that's bad. That's bad. Some of the sheep have been killed and left to rot. That's not good. Ooh, a dun bull. I bet he's got some nice hides. Let's get him out of my way. The farmhouse has been abandoned by its rightful owners. So now we go back to talk to Nona and let her know what's going on with the area. Well, that's not good. For the farmhouse to have been abandoned.
I think this is what
This is what Lou Brennan feared. They're not held by friendly clansmen anymore. The main trading settlement to the south may be similar, but we'll not know it without going there.
If we can help the people of Starkmoor, we may deprive Saruman's armies of their food.
Exactly. So if we can help the people of the region, we can deprive Saruman of the food. Travel south to Avardeen and help the people there and all throughout the Starkmoor. It may prove the difference in this region. Once you're satisfied you've done all you can to help the people of Starkmoor, I'll meet you where the road passes from the Starkmoor to the Dunbog by a great stone arch, and we'll continue our journey together. So now we have to help the people of the Starkmoor. So we're going to go down. So this is where we're going to meet her, but we're going to first go to Avardeen and see if we can help the folks in this region. It was a different bull, Neil. But yes, the dead sheep do feel very very orc-like, just left to rot, you know. Although I guess it could have been wolves. Well, no, they would have eaten it, of course. So you can see from here the town of Aberdeen, and that's where we're going to go. And we'll do a few missions here before we call it for the day. We usually go for an hour and a half to 2:30, and sometimes a little bit later than that. Just depends on where we are in the story. I don't usually quit until at least 2:30. And sometimes that means I don't quit till closer to 3. Depends on if I'm in the middle of a difficult instance, for instance. Did I just say in an instance, for instance? I did. I'm sorry, not sorry. All right, we're going to grab the stable master first. Let me just always advise you, whenever you get to a new place on the map, grab the stable master. So that way you can travel there from the other places. So we're going to help people here. We're going to get some quests, right? Talk to Yanto. Stable boy left. His father was taking a wolf's cleft. The boy ran off to work the fields. You know what? I'll just talk to him. Should have asked him to begin with. I know. Spending coins like crazy. All right. Select stalks of hay. What'd I get here? Deed bestowed. Quest in the Starkmoor. Hay is for horses. Da-doom-doom. Are there any other quests for me to pick up? Ooh. Oh, I know where. Oh. Katie, is this the one that I'm thinking of? There ends up being a really interesting meeting here. Because I don't want to. I mean, I could probably skip the whole series of quests, but I don't want to now. That's what I thought. Yeah, the Dunlendings are really, I mean, I think it would do us well to consider that the Dunlendings have been displaced by both the Númenóreans and the Rohirrim repeatedly. So they don't have a very, fond opinion of, oops, I just kind of spun around. They don't have a very fond opinion of the men of the West, for good reason. Now, I want birch branches, but that's not what I'm supposed to get. I'm supposed to get stalks of hay. Oh, there we go. There's some hay stalks. Yeah, someone bids 5. Yeah. Oh, man, that's such a good one. That's such a good one. I can't wait to get that. If nothing else, just voicing him is going to be, oh. So the mooing of the cows totally reminded me of a joke my son tried to tell me. He's notoriously bad at these things. I don't know that I could do the joke very well because you have to be 2 people. Knock, knock. Who's there? Interrupting cow. Interrupting. It's awful. It's awful. He doesn't let you get the interrupting cow out. Of course, my daughter just turns it into who's there, cow, and she just says moo because that's what she does. Yeah, so much to explore on the Dunlendings, really. Now, find ourselves some horses. Ride horses back to Aberdeen. Ah, that's right.
We will not be next.
So we just need to find the horses, mount them, and ride them back to town. We need to do that 3 times. As I keep trying to remind my son, his sense of humor is clearly not gotten from me. Oh, still further up. Oh, maybe he's up on that hill. There's a horse, I think. Yep, it says horse. A horse is a horse, of course, of course. I'm sure a tiny hobbit isn't going to have a problem mounting this full-grown horse. Did they ever stop to think about that? No, they did not. Aberdeen just says, go out and get our horses. We're lazy. I'm just going to sit here down by the town gate while you go do my work. Oh, well, that's not what I meant to do. I didn't think the dun bulls were that aggroed. I thought they only got aggroed if you were, like, near them for too long. Where do I take him? Probably the stables, now that I think about it. No, where? Ride horses back to Aberdeen. Do I go to the Forge Master? Do I just dismount the horse now that I'm in town? Apparently not, because now I still have 0 of 3. Gosh darn it, I just wasted my time on that horse. Where am I supposed to take them then? Just into the pen I was at. So which pen? Because I was here. Oh, I just needed to take them right into... No, that's not a pen. Oh, that pen. This pen right here is where I'm supposed to put them. This one right here. That I'm standing in, feeling really silly about. All right, well, we'll call that practice. Thank you, Fair. Since these bulls have proven to be very aggressive, I'm just going to have to kill them. Which shouldn't be hard for me since I'm, you know, a little too over-leveled. Now that's a calf. I don't need to kill that one. I'm even going to skip that Calenard. No, I'm not. Who am I kidding? I need the Scarn. There's the horse over there on the other side of the Dun Bull. So you're going to have to die there, Mr. Bull. All right, this time I'll take him where he's supposed to go instead of just dismounting him in town. So don't bring the car to the town. Bring the car to the parking lot. That's what you're saying. All right, fair enough. That is true, Fear, that you don't need to know how to ride a cow to lead it, but that's not the animation they're giving me now. I have to ride it. But fortunately, these are ponies. All right. There we go. That was the problem. Okay, so it looks like I can go again and get that dude up here. Looks like he's back, basically. The ring is there. But I don't see him. Oh, there he is. Okay. Better take care of that bull. Well, that bull's going to chase me now, isn't he? Yep. I don't get it. Like, what did I do to you, pal? Is that bull still coming after me? The music says he is, but I don't see him. All right, well, let's go try to find that third horse. Closest one is probably this one down here. Oh, except the water. Oh, we'll get some scarring while we're at it. All right, and then let's point to the right direction. Okay. What did I do? What did I do? I don't know what I did. That bull is your spirit animal? Come back to chase after me all the time? Oh, what did I do? Yeah. You know what you did. Gotcha. All right, we'll take this third horse there. You wanted to see what I'd confess? Well, I haven't done anything. I lead a very boring life, Nate. All right. Ruff. That's a good dog. Who's a good dog? Well, that's a big dog. It's a wolfhound, right? Like an Irish wolfhound? Now that we have horses, I can renew the stable's business. Is there anywhere you'd like to go? Well, no. Okay, now in town, aren't there some more quests that I can do around here? Apparently not. Maybe we'll come. I think we must be coming back. Oh, the vowels and the green mobs, the cod pieces of mental scarring. You know, I'm just going to port there because I'm lazy.
I'm glad you're here.
The Dunbog is just ahead.
Do you see the scout up ahead?
So I'm supposed to determine whether the scout is friendly and then scout the small camp of Dunlendings. After I grab some birch branches. Resources, you know. I think a banded coffer is a scholar's item. Yep. And I don't have scholar ability.
Hear me out, Duvodiad, for I have a tale to tell.
We do not get many travelers down this road. Is there something I can help you with? What could you possibly want down this way? The Avankluth do not take kindly to Duvodiad. There is a small band of us here, but we ask for naught, nor do we need anything from you. If you insist, you may speak with Alun. He is leading a scouting party nearby. I'm going to bind this as my campsite. Bathan sent you here, did she? Interesting. I'm not certain she was wise to do so, but we have naught we can hide here. The land is open as far as you can see, and there's not anything to see. Why would you even want to come here? Perhaps you can prove that you would be a valuable ally to the Avancluth. Food and supplies are scarce here, as you can see. Maybe you can help us gather some things.
Many foul things dwell in the shadows.
Since you
I
are so
fear
persistent,
wolves will be the least of our troubles.
perhaps I can put you to some use. The elders have asked us to gather supplies while we're out here on watch. Personally, would rather be in my hut with my wife, keeping warm. Do you think you can help me then? We need to collect shells from the beetles in the area. We use their shells for armor and cooking, and their meat is passable. But the shells are what we're looking for, undamaged, of course. Bring them to me when you're done.
Next.
Ah, I lost the
As
game.
long as
Literally
the
happened
line-
as I was watching here. Oops. Yep. Alan. Thank you, Katie. Yeah. It is no bad thing to celebrate a simple life. All right. So we've got some things here in the bog that we can do. I'm trying to figure out, though, and I'll need to look on the wiki to make sure, because I think that's actually part of the epic. There's no way they'd have us miss that quest. So I think, no apologies, Katie. That's what you're supposed to do, is like make that so busy it pops up and, keeps me busy. But yeah, so I'm supposed to, let's see. Well, let's start with this, right? Let's kill these toads. Supposed to collect toad legs. Don't have enough focus. That was my problem. $15 bog reeds. Luckily, they're everywhere. These tough reeds are used for stringing. What did it say? For stringing the bows. They also make really good belts. Okay. And we need to kill bog beetles, so let's kill the beetles. I love how they want the undamaged shells, and I poked holes in this one, but apparently they'll take it. What about their legs? They don't need those. Swamp gas. Swamp gas is a creature. We'll get some more resources while we're here. So we'll get these 3 quests done for this camp here, and then probably make our way into their town, where we'll save, where we'll grab the milestone and stop for the day. But I really want to get to that quest, so I'll take a look at the wiki just to make sure that I haven't somehow botched that by being maybe above level or something like that. Oh, you must face target. Even though I'm just trying to pull these things out of the ground, right? Even these like kind of ugly areas are beautifully done. I mean, the whole point is this whole area is supposed to be sort of unpleasant, right? It's even the people who live here, like, why would you want to be here? Oh, an orc abomination. That's interesting. We have an injured guard here. Okay, that's going to be in a quest for later. Same with the diseased rat. We must be out of our... Yep, we are sure enough out of that square. There were no other quests in Averdeen, though. That's the problem. So I'm not sure if maybe the epic takes us back there. Okay, all the toad legs have been gathered. Just picked up a quest that leads to the Dunbog area quests from Aberdeen. Right. Yeah, I'm wanting to do that one, but I'll have to figure out how to get there from here because I couldn't figure out how to pick it up. The guy behind the guy at the porch there was not an active quest giver. Maybe it's a quest below my level I need to turn on. That's probably what it is. Because I have it to where I don't see quests that are below level. All right, so let's turn these in. And that may be exactly what happened. Good night, Yonatan. And folks, for those who don't know, Yonatan is the guy who edits all of my TTT videos. So if you watch today's Tolkien Times, he is your hero.
The Ukwirod requires us to give welcome to Devoniad.
$69 should be visible. Katie, if you could show me if you could click on the quest giver and figure out how I get that quest and send that to me, I'll go grab it so that we can do it next time. Yeah. No, I know it's Bedwar, but he wasn't.
Do not speak the names of evil things, for you will call them.
Here, let's go back to let's go back there real quick. Oh, that's right. It's the merchant on the road from Galtrev. So I need to go to Galtrev probably. And by porting over here, that was the problem. That's what it was. Yeah, you gotta start with a broken cart. So instead of porting, I need to actually pretend I'm a first time in this world, get on a horse, and actually just take the regular road out there. So that means coming out Galtrev, on that west road, and then go south. Yep, that's what it is. Thank you for that. And once we've picked that up and made our way to Vernon, or whatever that town was, Aberdeen, we'll stop there once we picked up that quest. Yeah, it's been a long time since I've done those. I did those only with Durthal, my main. I guess you could argue one of my two mains, because Halagrim is my other main. But Halagrim began life as an alt, so... Yeah, Durthal is my captain, and I've never used any of the Valar stuff on him, so he's where he is, which is around this level. I want to say he's like maybe 78 or 79 now. But like Hilbern here, he's never bumped up levels. Whereas Halagrim, I took him from like level 40 something to level 105, or I think 120 actually. No, I haven't continued on Durthal without you. I'm still on. Basically, I'm just ahead of this point in the story because this is, I'm on the epic where I have to go talk to the prisoner again, and I stopped there. Aha! That's who it is.
It is not our custom to trust Devoniad, but perhaps you may be of help to me.
So I need to collect bandages collect pots, collect ledger pages, and find a new wheel for the cart. So I'm going to remove these from the quest tracker for now, just from the map, not from the actual quest tracker. And you can see they're all either right here, they're all right there. They're all right there. Right? So it should be fairly easy. But you know what? We're already running out of time. I love it. Look at that cow. That cow cannot be bothered. Gravity has no effect on that cow. That cow looks at gravity and says, I'm better than you. That's just nuts. I know. Yeah, I'm talking about you. Yeah, moo. You know, I'm just gonna. No, I. He's so mighty. She's so mighty. I can't do it. All right. We're gonna stop right here. Before we do anything, though, I'm gonna do what I typically do, which is handle some inventory management. Right. So I want. Oops. Calinard. I want anything that's Calinard to go into my own gear because I've got a. There we go. Right. So Calinard hides, birch branches, and Calinard scarn, and the high grade Calinard scarn all go to my vault because I need to do some crafting, and then the rest go to my shared materials for everybody else. So things like, well, actually, it doesn't really have anything, just some scholar stuff. And then for legendaries, the enhancement runes. I do have a thing for dyes, so I think I'm going to throw my red dyes and even doing blue dyes in there. Enhancement runes, enhancement runes, enhancement runes. We'll open up a treasure chest. How's that? We'll open up a treasure chest. I don't need those. Everything else can be sold. Ooh, except for that. Let's hold on to that. We'll put that in my gear. Along with my other pocket item. Okay. Everything else can be sold. I don't really... Well, the battle potions of restoration. Those are useful. I'll put those in my consumables folder. Traps. Snapjaw traps. Sure thing. Okay. All right. Everything else can be sold. So let's visit browse the shop. Sell all my loot. Now, you might wonder why there's not more loot. And that's simply because a lot of it went into my task items. So you'll see that I have a lot of task items that I can turn in the next time I am looking to turn in tasks. So it's a few items. I forget to empty that out every now and then. All right. So let's go to my shared storage and my loot. And we're going to pull a black steel key. And we're going to open up that treasure chest that I got. See what we get. It's our reward. The reinforced swift coif of the traveler, which is nowhere near as good as the helmet I'm currently wearing. So I will disenchant that to get motes of enchantment. The tome of the leaping fish kite, which I already have. Tome of veteran fortitude. Some more motes. Don't really care about the tome, but I think I'll put that in my shared storage consumables. And then I have a folder where I put tomes for other characters that don't have those things. But that's now, I've got 2 more leaping fish kites. So, all right. That was a boring chest. That was a very boring chest. Treasure chests. Just to be clear. All right. I'm going to go ahead and turn off the game. Turn off that camera and bring the chat back to front and center. I'll also bring up the chat on stream. A, it makes my head smaller, and B, it means Twitchers and YouTubers can now converse with one another. You're up to your 7,000 carry-all. Good heavens. Yeah, that cow is pretty impressive, I got to admit. It's pretending to be a goat, but it's forgotten that it has the mass of a cow. Oh, that was fun. I am looking forward to looking forward to the that quest with the bid 5. That's such a good one. And then we'll move on with the epic. So we'll do a couple more sessions maybe before, like, I don't want to get stuck into Isengard. I want to stop the LotRO stream, and start doing the Legos and other things before we get to Isengard. So I'll have to take a look at the epic quest guides. I'm not going to cheat and read too much, but I want to get an idea of how many sessions that'll take. So we'll return to this on Tuesday. So we'll stream Tuesday at 6 p.m. Pacific, right? Is that when I will eventually suffer those quests, Katie. I just don't want to suffer them right away. I want to get to the other things that are PPP plays. I'm going to suffer them. Don't worry. I'm not going to Valar Hilbern. You're not going to suddenly be like, wow, how did Hilbern end up in the Vales of Anduin and is 100 level 120? I mean, maybe that'll happen. I don't know. No, of course not. We want to do all the stuff in Rohan. Gearing up for my suffering. Well, that sounds like a you problem, but we do want to get to building the Lego Balrog. We want to build the Lego Balrog Book Nook, and then we want to get to doing some magic. We want to do some other stuff. I do have a little bit of fun news that I can confirm with you today. 2 weeks from today, on oh shoot, that door was never supposed to be open. That door is supposed to be closed, because the problem is that the way that the angles work is it looks like everything's kind of askew, but when I went and used the blow dryer, I left it open anyway. The the other things like Magic the Gathering and stuff. But what I wanted to say is that 2 weeks from today I will be playing LotRO, and I will be walking through it with one Corey Olson. The Tolkien professor is going to join me not on the 10th, but on the 17th. And we are going to adventure together for a little while and talk about some of the things that he's got going on in the space program over at Signum. And it's going to be a fun time to have both the Tolkien professor and the Man of the West on the same stream. It's going to be a lot of fun. No, I'm not going to Valar Hilbern, Catherine. I promise. I'm very tempted to. I'm so very tempted to, but I have a couple of characters that are around 120. I have a couple of characters that are around 140. So I don't think I need to. But it'll be good to have Corey with me. It's always fun when we get together. We had so much fun at the Moot. I better not. Katie's going to have it out for me if I Valar Hilbern. I won't Valar Hilbern. No, don't worry. All right. Well, folks, thank you so much for joining me today. Not just for joining me for the first stream of the new year, but I know so many of you were joining me for the very first time ever because it was also the Tolkien Toast. So thank you for joining me for that, especially if you joined me for that and have stuck around this entire time, because that means you've been here for 2 hours. So thank you. And I will be back the regular schedule for those of you who are new still, Tuesdays at 6 Pacific and Saturdays at 1 Pacific. So they, of course, will be recorded just like they all are, so you can always watch it later. And in the meantime, thank you all. Hope you all have a wonderful weekend, and I'll see you on Tuesday night. Good night, everybody.